We're having our Prosperworks CRM webinar today. We've got Mike who's joining us here from Prosperworks, and he's going to be going through a brief presentation and also a short demo. I'm just going to do a quick introduction for those of you that don't know who Damson Cloud are, and then I'm going to hand over to Mike. Okay, so what we always say at Damson is our mission is to help organizations leverage the cloud to drive real business value. And I think these webinars that we run on a fairly regular basis are part of that as well. And bringing in third-party companies such as Prosperworks. Many of you will use add-ons from the Google Marketplace like Better Cloud and Cloud Pages and Prosperworks, and we try as best we can to help our customers and educate our customers about these excuse me, about these additional tools that are available that can help people be more efficient within their businesses. My name is Fintan Murphy. As many of you know, I'm the CEO of Damson Cloud, and along with Donald and Raheem, we're part of the leadership team. So that's it from me. I'm going to unshare my screen. I'm going to hand over to Mike now to do an introduction for Prosperworks.
All right. Thanks, Fintan. All right. Just making sure. Can you see my screen right now?
Yep, we can.
All right. Let's do it. So my name is Mike Benayoun. I'm the Director of Channel Sales here at Prosperworks from beautiful California. And joined the company about a year ago to launch our partner program and working very closely with our partners across the globe. As Fintan mentioned, what I'm going to do is go over just a few slides to introduce the company and the solution, as well as introduce a few concepts before we get to the demo. And as Fintan mentioned, feel free to ask your questions in the form. We'll be happy to answer them as we go along or at the end of the presentation. So, like I said, just a few slides to introduce the company first. We are the only CRM that is actually recommended by Google. We started the company about 3-4 years ago, and we really had in mind to fill a gap in the Google platform and really build a solution that was built from the get-go for the G Suite apps. So you'll see as we move along that we have done that by integrating every single point, every single app in the platform to our CRM solution, really making sure to provide a seamless experience to the end users and really not disrupting their day-to-day job, and making sure that the CRM was really just an extension of their daily operations. We also received a New Tech Partner of the Year award last year at Google's conference for our achievements in the year prior, in 2015. So that was a big accomplishment, keeping in mind that our solution really came to market a couple of years ago. So really just after a year, really growing very fast in the first year and really addressing the needs of customers that were really investing and committing to the G Suite stack, and again, filling that gap in the CRM space. So Google is not only recommending us, but they're actually a customer of ours as well. And they are using our solution in about 6 business units currently and growing as we speak. So that is really a validation of the product. As you may know, being part of the recommended program, we had to go through certification process and validation of our solution to really ensure that the solution worked really well with the G Suite stack, and really going through some security and privacy and scalability testing, so that really to allow us to get kind of the Google stamp on our solution. So we really address the needs of SMB and mid-market customers. However, we have been able to also attract a few names, logos that you can see here. We currently have more than 70,000 customers, but again, the majority of them are more SMB to mid-market. So I would say the majority of them are between 1 and 1,000 employees. That is really the market that we are addressing and focusing on right now. However, we are definitely moving up market as we speak. So you will probably see more and more logos on this slide that you can recognize going forward. But a couple that I think you will recognize, of course, Google, as well as Peugeot, the French car maker. We address the needs of their sales team in an Asian country for their distributors in that region. So I wanted to go over a few slides just to introduce some concepts and kind of talk about why we introduced Prosperworks a couple of years ago and what was the main challenge that we saw that we wanted to address. So when you think about CRM, it really does two things. CRM allows you to enter data and act as a sales data repository to, in turn, allow you to provide insight and make decisions based on that insight. So that's fairly straightforward. The problem is almost half of CRM implementations fail for the simple reason that a lot of times what you enter or what is entered in the CRM is bad data. And of course, as we all know, garbage in, garbage out. So if you enter bad data to begin with, if it's not accurate, if it's not up to date, then of course you won't be able to make the right decision because you're not going to have the right insight to make those decisions. So why are we getting bad data? Because CRMs, for the most part, and CRMs have been around for almost 20 years now, have historically been providing clunky and difficult to use interfaces. Again, this practice and this space really started about 20 years ago with Salesforce, and a lot of solutions have really kept up with the market, but have not really provided a solution that was easy to use and really a modern interface that people could relate to. A lot of times it also comes from the fact that the solution is not set up properly. Again, because the solutions have evolved over time and have become really overkill for a lot of companies, they have become more and more difficult to configure and to set up to provide the right results that you were expecting. Not accessible in the workflow, what it means is that those solutions really act as a standalone solution, a standalone process, and do not really, do not allow users to interact with them in their daily operations. We all know that we spend most of our time in email, and especially when you're a Google customer, you're going to spend most of your time in Gmail. So the reason, the way we have developed this Prosperworks CRM is really to allow end users to interact with the CRM as they were doing their job, as they were interacting with Gmail, as they were interacting with their, all of the other solutions that they were using, especially when you're on the Google stack. And we did not want to disrupt that. We wanted to really act as an extension of the Google stack and making sure that whenever they were using any application on the G Suite platform, that it really became second nature to them and it really did not disrupt the way that they were doing their work. Again, with that, we are able to drive more adoption, and we are able to not force the solution onto users, but to really allow them to want to use the system because it provides them value and it does not disrupt their day-to-day job. And the last problem that we wanted to address, and I'll show you that in a demo, is the fact that there were way too much data entry. And that is really an obstacle to adoption that we have identified really early on. Nobody wants to sit at their desk entering data and copying and pasting all day long. What we have seen is that on average, information workers, sales reps spend an average of 4 to 5 hours a week alone just to enter data in the system. And of course, with manual data entry, you are prone to errors and you're prone to inaccuracy of the data just because people make mistakes. And what we really wanted to address is we wanted to make sure that the data was entered seamlessly. Obviously, it's never going to be 100% done for you, but we wanted to take you like 80 to 90% of the way there, so that all you had to do is fill the gaps. And again, I'll show you that in a demo. So the holy grail is really to have accurate data to begin with, so that we can present you with reports and insights that you can make real decisions on. And that's really what we are all about, really providing a solution that people love to use and are not forced to use. We really provide a seamless interface, again, seamless integrations with Google, allowing our end users to really want to adopt the solution because it is going to provide them value, and not to them and not just to their managers. So in a nutshell, Prosperworks will help you sell more, and obviously will help you sell more efficiently, because we provide a CRM that your team will actually use and will love to use. We'll provide the insights that they will need in order to sell more, to optimize their conversion rates, to sell more efficiently by reducing their sales cycles, and really providing a lot of insights and really coaching them as they move deals through the sales cycle. We also allow to provide you with a repeatable sales process. Why? Because we're able to identify what has worked, what has not worked, able to provide you with a solution that allow you to follow through on your leads and your opportunities, so that nothing falls through the cracks. And again, and finally, a visibility to coach them to coach your team to success. Really providing you with visibility into your pipeline, to you, but also to your executive team and management, making sure that you know where you are at any point in time. So all of this really allows you to sell more efficiently, and really provide you a lot of value, again, to the end users and not just to the managers and to the executive team. Where we are going with the solution, wanting to show you that, is really acting as an intelligent sales coach. Where we're going in the next 12 to 24 months is we're going to add more and more features to embed artificial intelligence and machine learning within the CRM solution. And what we mean by that is we're going to be able, as you go along, we're going to be able to identify the patterns of success within your sales operations, really identifying what has worked, what has not worked, in order to provide you with and coaching you on the next steps that you have to follow in order to optimize your sales process. And that is really the direction we want to take, in order to provide value to the sales team and not just to the sales management. And of course, we are also focusing on the management to provide them with goal tracking, leaderboard, really more granular insight into their operations, so that they can make adjustments to the team, to the people, to the training, and making sure that you have the right team in order to provide the right results and achieve your targets. I also wanted to show you this slide to kind of show you the different points of integration, and the list is growing, by the way. So when you look at the Google Stack and the G Suite platform, again, we wanted to integrate at every single level in order to provide the most value and the most integrated and seamless experience. For example, we are providing integration with Google Contact. So you are able, from the get-go, to import your contacts from Google Contact if you want to, and to sync with them as well, allowing you to have a single source of truth for your contacts, as opposed to an isolated contact for your entire team, which is really what happens with Google Contact. People are going to manage their contact individually and in isolation. What we propose with Prosperworks is the ability to consolidate those contacts into one source of truth. We also provide a Google Sheets add-on. What we've tried to do with Prosperworks is we've tried to provide as much functionality, but at the same time to provide an easy-to-use interface. So it's really a balance between providing enough functionality that everybody will need, but at the same time, not really becoming an overkill solution with features that you're only going to use once a year, if anything. So with Google Sheets, well, that's what we've done. We are providing you about 15 to 20 reports that are out of the box that we know are the reports that everybody's going to need. But right now, we're not trying to provide you with like every single report under the sun. To address the specific needs of specific customers beyond what we provide out of the box, we have developed a Google Sheets add-on that allows you to pretty much build the reports that you need and that you want. Not only allowing you to build the reports based on Prosperworks data, but with the Google Sheets add-on, you have the ability to consolidate the data with data that may come from other systems, from ERPs, from marketing platforms, from any other system where you might want to correlate information that comes from your CRM with another solution. The Chrome extension is another point of integration, and that's really where most of our customers spend most of their time. That allows you, from the context of Gmail, to interact with pretty much 95% of the functionality of the CRM in the context of Gmail. And that's what I'll show you in the demo as well. In addition to the Chrome extension, we have two other ways to interact with Prosperworks. Another one is with our mobile apps. We have one for Android. We obviously have one for iOS as well. The mobile app, again, we have seen what was not working with other CRMs. What other CRMs were trying to do is they were trying to replicate pretty much every functionality that was available in the desktop app that they were providing in the mobile apps. And that's not really the right approach. We all know that where you're on the go, you really need to get to the information quickly in a couple clicks, and you need to be able to enter information quickly as well. What we've tried to do is we've tried to develop a lightweight mobile app that is very performant and at the same time allows you, when you're on the go, to access and to enter information very easily. So that is also one of the reasons why our mobile apps are really used, and our customers really love to use our mobile apps. The last interface, the third interface that we provide, is obviously a desktop full-featured application that you can launch from any browser. So those are the three interfaces that we provide you in order to interact seamlessly with Prosperworks. Then we also provide you with a seamless integration with Gmail. One on the UI side, which is the Chrome extension that I discussed, but also allowing you to sync and track email from the context of Gmail. So what it means is that we are not using a BCC approach. With most other CRMs, in order to enter information into the CRM, end users have to use a specific BCC, blind copy, in order to enter information into the CRM. That's okay, but that's a manual process. That's an extra step that people have to remember in order to enter information into the CRM. Because we are so well integrated with Google and with the G Suite stack, we work at the API level. That means that any email that you send and that you receive from a contact that is already entered in Prosperworks is going to be synchronized with Prosperworks. That means that you don't even have to think about it. If I send an email to Fintan, this email, if Fintan's contact information is in Prosperworks, that email is automatically going to be entered in Prosperworks, attached to Fintan as a contact record, and potentially attached to all the opportunities that Fintan is attached to. So that is the beauty of that seamless integration with Gmail and synchronizing at the API level. We also provide tracking. So we also provide Gmail tracking. What you can do with that is you can actually track emails that are being sent out. If I send an email to Fintan and if I check this box and if I tell Prosperworks that I want to track that email, every time Fintan is going to open that email, I'm going to know about it. And if I go to Fintan's contact record, I'm going to know how many times that email was open, when it was open. That allows you to, as you follow up with Fintan, for example, that allows you to follow up accordingly. If you know that your last email was never open, then you know that Fintan doesn't really know what you talked about in your last email. That allows you to adapt your communication accordingly. Next, we also have an integration with documents, with Drive. In addition to attaching documents from your desktop, you also have the ability to link documents from your Google Drive, allowing you to link dynamic documents to your opportunities, to your contacts, to your companies that you work with, so that you can work on your documents the same way you would do with any other document on Drive, and always have the latest version attached to your opportunity, for example, if we're talking about a proposal. Next, we also have integrations with tasks and meetings. That, again, we're not trying to reinvent the wheel. So if there's anything that we can leverage from the G Suite stack, we are going to leverage it. That goes for the Google Calendar in that example. Every time you're going to have a meeting set up with a contact, we are going to sync that meeting inside Prosperworks. Again, if I have a meeting with Fintan next week, that meeting is going to be synced with Prosperworks from my Google Calendar, and that meeting is going to be attached to Fintan's contact record. We also use the Google Calendar for tasks. So if I have a follow-up task on an opportunity or a contact, for example, that is going to be attached and that's going to be added to a Google Calendar that you subscribe to. So it's not going to be attached to your personal calendar. It's going to be attached to a Prosperworks calendar that you have access to. And last but not least, we obviously provide single sign-on with Google. So you can log into Prosperworks with Prosperworks credentials, but you can also log in using your Google credentials. There's a couple new integrations that are not on this slide because they are rather new that I will mention. One is we just released last month our integration with Inbox. So you are now able to use the Google Gmail Inbox interface with Prosperworks. And we also introduced an integration with Google Slides. So you're able to use Prosperworks data within your presentations as well. There's a couple more that we actually introduced at Google Next, Google's annual conference a couple of weeks ago. One is our ability, our first participation in the new Gmail add-on. So that is something really, really new that just came out, which is in private beta right now by Google. And we were one of only 3 ISVs that were invited to that private beta, really providing with the first integration with the Gmail add-on. That Gmail add-on, what it's really going to allow you to do is allowing us to provide the same experience that we provide with our Chrome extension in any browser, as it will be browser agnostic. So it's really going to act as an add-on to Gmail that you can pretty much use from any browser, in addition also to your mobile app, to your mobile Gmail app if you want to. So unless there's any questions so far, I'm going to jump to the demo.
I think we'll leave the questions to the end.
Okay, cool. Fair enough. All right, so what I'm showing you here is the Gmail interface. And what I did is I logged in to Prosperworks already to kind of show you how the Chrome extension would work. What you can see here is that Gmail, the regular standard Gmail interface, with the panel to the right of Gmail that you can collapse and expand to provide you again with contextual information on where you are, what you are doing in Gmail. So by default, when you log into Prosperworks, it's going to provide you with a view of the tasks that you potentially have to complete today, and some that maybe may not be completed, that maybe have a past deadline or something. So, if you have followed up on that email, you can just complete it from here, and automatically this task will be completed and will not appear on your task list. Also, like I said, everything is contextual. So if I hover over Jacob here, let me just. So if I hover over Jacob's email here, contextually, it's going to gather information about Jacob. So that is the beauty of the automated data capture that I was talking about earlier. What we are doing here really is, as you can see, Jacob is not a contact on Prosperworks just yet. But what we're doing here is we are dynamically in the background trying to capture as much information about Jacob without even you doing anything with it yet. What we're doing is we're using different APIs in the background. We're using full contact. We're using other sources of information. We're trying to use also the email signature in order to capture that information. So we're pretty much trying to gather as much information as possible on Jacob here to provide you with a view of that person, allowing you to decide whether you want to add Jacob to your contact repository in Prosperworks or not. And by clicking here on Add to Prosperworks, what we're doing is we're filling all the fields that are available in Prosperworks, the standard fields, and providing you with a contact record that if I click Save here, it's going to add to Prosperworks. It's not only going to do that, but what I said earlier about the fact that we were syncing at the API level, what we're going to do every time we add a contact to Prosperworks, Prosperworks is going to go back 12 months in time, and we're going to capture and ingest 12 months worth of email interactions as well as meetings, which means that when you add a contact record to Prosperworks, you're not really starting from scratch. You don't have to import anything manually. We're going to do the import for you. We're going to look at your Gmail. We have access to your Gmail and to your calendar. And because of that, we're able to capture and ingest 12 months worth of interaction from the get-go. So a lot of our customers actually start with that. They don't even import data in their CRM. They install Prosperworks. They add their contacts from their Google Contacts. Also, what we're going to do is we're going to analyze your Gmail, and we're going to suggest to you contacts that you may want to add to Prosperworks. So you don't even have to think about it. We're going to do the work for you. We're going to analyze your Gmail and your interactions, and we're going to suggest to you, hey, Michael, I think that you have sent and received like 10 emails in the past 3 months with Fintan. We think that might be a good contact to add to Prosperworks. And with one click, not only are we going to add the contact to Prosperworks, but we're also going to add all the email interactions and all the meetings in one click. So that is really the beauty of automating as much as possible in your interactions with your CRM. So we looked at Jacob, who was a contact that was not added to Prosperworks just yet. Now let's look at the contact that was added to Prosperworks, Brian. So Brian is a person that I have interacted with. I have sent emails to him. I have received emails from him. And I decided to add Brian to Prosperworks. So now I have access to his contact record. So as you can see here, by default, we're going to look at the details tab, and we're looking at all the detailed information about that contact record. As you can see, we also captured the social presence of the brand, so Facebook, LinkedIn, and so on. And you can also add your own tags if you want to maybe add information about what Brian likes, or any kind of tag that is kind of an ad hoc information to Brian that would not fit within any of the standard or custom fields. Then you can look at the activity with Brian. As you can see here, we are syncing in real time, which means that every time you're going to receive an email from Brian, or you're going to send one to Brian, we're going to sync those new emails with Brian's contact record. You can also force a sync. So you can click here, and it's going to sync any new emails that you might have received or sent to Brian. We're also going to provide you with a high-level view of the interactions with Brian. How many times you interacted with Brian, when was the last time you contacted Brian, and how many days since the last interaction with Brian. Again, providing you with high-level information about your interactions with Brian. From here, again, you don't have to launch the full-featured web app or go anywhere else. From the context of Gmail, you may be able to, you may have just got off the phone with Brian and you want to add a note, you can just do it from here. And you also have access to the activity thread of you, or actually of anybody, any user on Prosperworks and Brian. So that is the beauty of it here too as well. We're not just syncing your interactions with Brian, we're syncing the interactions of any of your colleagues that have a user on Prosperworks with Brian. So you can see here, in a matter of a click, all the activity, or if you're only interested in the emails, I can just filter. I guess that's the demo effect. I don't know why it's doing this. Let's refresh. I'm using a demo environment, but it's a live environment, so we shouldn't have any problem with.
When you're demoing, the statistical likelihood of something going wrong increases tenfold.
Of course. Oh, let me refresh here, make sure that it's working. It should come up in a minute. Okay, I'm not sure why it's doing. Okay, now it's.
Well, we're waiting on that. I think what was interesting just in the part of the demo you were showing off there was the Chrome extension, and I think for me one of the best benefits, just as we've only started to use obviously Prosperworks in the last six or 8 months, was the fact that it replaced multiple Chrome extensions. So I used to have Reportive for getting the information, you know, when you hovered over someone there and it pulled in their social media data. And I also used to have another one, which was called YesWare, which was for tracking emails. And now the Prosperworks extension has essentially replaced all of that and allowed me to add the data into my CRM system. So I think it's interesting from that point of view as well, of that sort of combining of maybe multiple tools into one.
Absolutely, Fintan. And actually, talking about email tracking, I used YesWare in the past as well, but here you have access to this email tracking from the context of the CRM. So looking at the email activity,
much more relevant.
You can see the email activity from right here, and you can see how many times that email was. If in this case it was not opened by Brian, but if that last email was opened by Brian, it would show me the dates and times when it was opened by Brian.
Yeah, no, it's a very useful feature, and the active days as well. I find the inactive days of a customer very useful, so you can see those customers that maybe you're not getting the contact with.
Absolutely, you can use that information in reports as well. So if you want to create a report of all your customers or all your prospects that you have not touched in the past 60 days, in a couple of clicks, you can create that report, and I'll show you that in a minute as well.
Okay, can I hand back over to you to continue? Sorry.
Yeah. No problem. So from here, you have access to all the activity, and I really want to emphasize that it's obviously not only your activity with Brian, but it's the activity of any other person in your company with Brian. You can see here, for example, Jesse, who is another rep in my company, sent an email to Brian, and I can see this email in the thread. I can open it, and I can look at the actual email. You can obviously configure the visibility of your activity as well. So you see here we have different colors for the lock for every single email. You can set the visibility at a global level, and you can say, you know what, I want all my emails to be visible by just my team or by everybody in the organization or just by me. And that will be described here by the color of the lock. In this case here, with the red lock, that email is only visible by me and only me and the admin, but nobody else in the organization. That green lock tells me that that email can be seen by anybody in the organization. When you have a yellow or orange lock, it tells you that that email can be seen by anybody on your team, and you can define who is obviously a member of your team. All right. Then we go into the related records. So again, from here, you don't have to go to any other interface from the context of Gmail. You can not only look at Brian's contact records, but you can also look at any associated records with Brian, all the opportunities that Brian is associated with. And you can obviously navigate from here. You can look, oh, you know what, let me look at this opportunity. When was the last time we connected on that opportunity? What are the companies associated with that opportunity? If I have any task to complete in order to move that opportunity and so on. I can navigate very easily from the Chrome extension without having to go anywhere else. I can create a new opportunity from here if I want to as well. You also have tasks. So if you can see all the tasks that are associated with Brian, if you need to add a task from here, you can just send quote to Brian for tomorrow at 7:30. You can add more information if you want to. You save it. And now in a couple of clicks, I have a new task that is now associated with Brian that I have to complete. Not only that, but remember that we are syncing all the tasks and the meetings to the calendar. So now, all of a sudden, we have a new task that was added to your calendar, and it's going to act as any other meeting. It's going to send you a reminder to complete that task as Google would do with any other meeting or task. And as I said earlier, it's not overpopulating your existing personal calendar. It's adding it to a different calendar that you have access to. So if you want to toggle on and off that calendar, you would do it as any other calendar in Google Calendar, and you can see your Prosperworks reminders here. Like any other Google Calendar as well, you can share it with your team, with your executives, so that they can have visibility into your CRM, sales activity. So so from here you can obviously add files. You can add files from your desktop, or also link to a Google Drive. You can add a specific meeting from here, or like I said earlier, if you invite Brian to a meeting from your Google Calendar, it's automatically going to sync with Brian's contact record as well. And you can also add project to a specific contact or to an opportunity. Those come handy if you have kind of a more like complex task that you have to complete in order to move to a next stage in the sales cycle. If it's not just one atomic task, if you will, you can add a project if it's a little more involved and you have to complete a project before you can move to the next stage in the sales cycle. You can create a project from here. So let's open an opportunity here, for example, and I want to show you that at any point in time within the context of the Chrome extension, you can open up the same record in the full-featured web application. So here I'm looking at a specific opportunity. I'm going to click on Open in Web, and what it's going to do for you is it's going to open up that opportunity in the full screen view and open it up in another window, giving you access to the full-featured web application. So from here, you obviously have a full screen view, so there's quite a few more things that you can do with that full screen view. One example is obviously you can see the list of opportunities, a typical like spreadsheet type of view, but you can also ask for a pipeline view, which is a view that more and more people are getting familiar with project management solutions that are providing similar type of views. But here it's really in the context of a sales cycle. And in that context, and that's a view that I'm using almost every day when I do pipeline review with reps or with manager, we put that on the screen and we are able to very easily look at the pipeline in the context of the different stages, but also very visually interacting with this pipeline. If we're talking about this opportunity, for example, which was sitting in the initial inquiry stage, and if we're talking about it with the manager and we realize that, you know what, I actually did progress that opportunity and now it actually deserves to be moved to the next stage, I can just drag and drop that opportunity to the next stage. And in one drag and drop operation, I have moved that opportunity along in the sales cycle. Also, very visually, you have the ability to see if there's any task pending for opportunities. So here you see a red dot. That means that there is a task that needs to be completed for that opportunity to move along. If I want to complete that task from here, I can do so. I have completed that task, and I'm like, you know what? I have completed that task. I can move that opportunity to the next stage. You also see, from here, you can obviously add tasks very easily. You can, send proposal. You can leave it assigned to you, or you can also change the assignee to somebody else. So if I want to send it to Jesse, I can add that task, and it's going to be sent to Jesse's inbox. If I want to click on any opportunity, I can click on it, and it's going to open up this panel showing me more information about that opportunity. Again, what we're really trying to do is provide a seamless interface so people don't have to go back and forth between different windows, opening up different windows that are really cumbersome, really providing a seamless interface so that you can very easily get to the information you need in order to make the decision you need to make. As you may have noticed, you also have a few opportunities that have this star. I use that all the time in my day-to-day job. Why? Because in my job, I'm the director of channel sales. I do not own any opportunity. However, the sales reps on the sales team own the opportunities. What I want to do is I want to be able to follow all the ops in my channel pipeline, and I want to follow them so that if anything changes in the opportunity itself, if they change stages, if the value of the opportunity changes, for example, if there's anything that changes on that opportunity, I want to be alerted about it. And I want to receive a notification that somebody, typically the sales rep owner or maybe the manager, has changed something about that opportunity. And I want to be notified about it. So that's why you can click here and follow any opportunity in your pipe. You have the opportunity to create separate pipelines. So by default, we provide you with like a standard pipeline, but you can create your own pipeline if you want to, and you can even do it from here. So very easily you can say, you know what, we have a different pipeline for mid-market sales, and we have different stages that you can define here. Stage 1 with a 10% probability, stage 2 with like 30%, for example, and so on. And you can add stages. You can make any pipeline accessible by everybody or by a selected team. Here I have one team that I created, and you can add as many teams as you want. When I add this pipeline in one click, it's going to be available to me in the interface. I'm not going to do that, but then it would appear here, and you would have this pipeline very easily added to your pipeline view. For any pipeline, you can also create your own views. So for a specific pipeline, you can say, you know what, I'm only interested in the Q1 pipeline, and it's going to filter this pipeline with only Q1 opportunities. You can filter those pipelines very easily by applying filter criteria to any pipeline view. So if you are only interested in your own pipeline, and maybe you want to add the pipeline from Jesse, you change it here. So you want to change the close date, and maybe from December to February, you apply it here, and so on. If you want to change any criteria, you would do that. And then you could update the existing filter. And now the Q1 pipeline view is going to be updated with the new criteria that you just defined. So as you can see, very easily, you can create your own views. A couple of clicks, you can save them, make them available to just you if it's a private filter, or your colleagues if you want to make this filter available publicly. So we talked about how to manage your contact. We talked about how to manage your pipeline. Now let's talk about reporting. So I wanted to show you, again, the types of report that we provide. But again, like I said earlier, we're not trying to provide every single report under the sun. We're really trying to focus on the reports that matter to the customers that we work with. So there's probably not a lot of information here because it's all data, but let's try to see here. Okay, there's not a lot. Sales. Not sure why it's not showing a lot of data, but in any case, here you would see the charts and report on your overall pipeline, and again defined by the criteria that you specify here. So you can pretty much specify the criteria that you want, and it would show you the pipeline accordingly. Because you can specify weight at any stage in the pipeline, you can also see have access to a weighted pipeline summary. So looking at your pipeline, but with the weights that are applied to every stage in your pipeline. A pipeline by owner, so having a chart, and I apologize, usually there is that, I don't know why it's not showing that, I have to fix that. So having a pipeline by, if you're a manager and you want to look at the pipeline by owner, you would have access to it here, and obviously being able to get a view of this pipeline. So again, different, I'm not going to go over every single report, but you have a sales forecast. You also have loss reasons, and obviously you can specify your own loss reasons. By default, we provide you with a few that come out of the box, standard. But if your business is specific and you need to capture specific loss reasons, you can add them here. And every time you're going to lose an opportunity, Prosperworks is going to ask you why you lost it. And in one click, you can specify if it was because of competition, maybe because it was of price, maybe a feature that was missing, and so on. And then you're going to be able to report on those loss reasons. Then last but not least, you have the ability to provide an activity by end user. So if you're a manager and you have a team of 10 people to manage, and you want to look at their activity based on specific date ranges, you want to look at maybe specific activities, maybe just the emails or just the phone calls and so on. And by the way, you can add your own activities. So if you want to track like how many times your reps have sent a proposal, maybe how many times you received support tickets. We have integration with Zendesk, for example. You can also track those in those reports and be very granular in what you want to report on. So, obviously there's a lot more. I could go on and on. There's a lot more to it. If you have admin privileges, you can configure your solution very easily and add fields, add loss reasons, like I said, create your own pipeline. Also, one thing that I have not talked about is the ability to create activity types. So, sorry, not activity types, to create automated actions. So that is the ability to create actions that are going to be triggered automatically based on events that are that you specify. So here, for example, if you want to trigger an action based on an opportunity that is moving from one stage to another one, you can add it here, and you can add like new, maybe new opportunity, and here we can select, so next, and you can select the entity, and based on the trigger, so you can say, if when an entity is created, I always want to create a specific task. So you can see that very easily you can create like the if then type actions that are very powerful, that allow you to really make sure that nothing falls through the cracks, and that everything you have, every time you have a trigger, like maybe a new opportunity is created, maybe a new contact is created, or any other trigger that you would want to choose, you can create an automated action on. There's a lot more that you can configure. I just wanted to show you that because I think it's very powerful. But obviously, there's more. We could spend more time on just the configuration aspect of Prosperworks as well. So I'm going to stop here. I know we have about 10 more minutes for questions if there are any, and making sure that we address those. Fintan?
Sorry, I had myself muted there. Yeah, we'll unshare our screens and we can maybe go through a couple of questions. Sure. So yeah, I think it was interesting just to see the full demo for people, to see the product in action. I think for me, there's a couple of things that really hit home in terms of the actual benefits of Prosperworks. I think the accessibility is huge. So you covered it a lot in there, Mike. Having access to the data for salespeople is key, and it's been one of the challenges for me, certainly, with CRMs that we've used, that I don't have access to the data. Whereas with Prosperworks, it's in my email, it's on the web, it's on my phone, and so I can access it from anywhere. And that accessibility is what makes it easy to use. And then I think the other thing is the automated data entry. I think the automated data entry is incredible. And in all the years that we have been working in the cloud space, we have never considered selling a CRM system. So Prosperworks is the only CRM that we've ever considered selling. So I think that in itself says a lot. Okay, we've got one or two questions here. So some of which I think you've already covered. Somebody was asking about when you add a contact to Prosperworks, does it add all of the previous mail, which I think you covered. So I think that was asked previous to you answering that. Someone's asking, have any of your customers used the CRM as a project management tool? Is that something customers have done in the past?
Absolutely, yes. And I should have covered that, and thanks for the question. So the answer is absolutely yes. As you could see from the demo, we obviously focus on the sales types processes, but I can tell you that either internally or customers have been using Prosperworks for other types of processes. So it could be project management. We have done a survey actually last year. We have audited all the names of the pipelines that our customers had created. So we have audited all of our customers, so more than 75,000 customers. And we have looked at beyond the standard pipelines, what were the words that were used in those pipelines that they were created. The number one word that was used was project.
It was project. Yeah, it's interesting. And I think, very often after you've closed a sales deal, it's generally moving on to being a project, for many people. So I think that makes a lot of sense.
We actually do that internally when we finalize a sale. We actually kick off what we call an onboarding process that our customer success team is actually responsible for. So we have created quite a few different processes for partner onboarding, customer onboarding, recruitment of employees as well as partners. So we have different processes even internally that we use Prosperworks for.
Yeah, Cool. Another question we have in here is there an iPhone and iPad app? I think you mentioned a mobile app, definitely.
Correct. So there is an iPhone app. So there's an iPhone app. There is no iPad app right now. You can obviously use our application is mobile. It's responsive, so you can use the app on your
the
iPad.
web interface. Yeah, of course. Yeah,
absolutely.
And then a kind of final question is just around the automatic data entry. Your screen is still shared there, just so you know. Just someone wondering how the automatic data entry works, and is the data sort of validated against, you know, a database, or is it synchronizing it from, you know, from the sort of email or your own contacts? Where's that kind of information coming from, I think, is the question.
Yeah, that's a good question. So we use different methods. So, and there's a sequence to what we're going to use. Number one, we're going to use the email signature, because we feel that is the most up-to-date and most accurate data that we can get. We're scraping the email signature, and we're trying to gather as much information from the email signature. If there are gaps, and if there are still information that we need, we're going to use different APIs. We're going to use full contact. I think we're also using ever contact. We're also using different other additional APIs in order to augment the information that we're capturing from the email signature. And sometimes there's no email signature, so of course we have to rely on.
Of course, you have to rely on other data sources. Yeah.
But those are accurate data sources, and that's really the beauty of automating the data capture, is that we know that the data is accurate and up to date, and it's real time. So there shouldn't be any errors. I mean, of course, you know, there might be
some. Yeah. No, I think for me as well, that was one of the key features, was the suggested contacts. And like that's part of the automated data entry, but just the fact that I would begin a conversation with a potential customer, and Prosperworks was sort of jumping ahead of me and kind of going, oh, I've noticed that you're contacting this person. Is this a potential lead or customer? And to just be able to, at one click from within my Gmail, add that information in is fantastic. So yeah, that was a big win for me.
It's really, you know, we really, at every single levels, we're really trying to make sure that nothing falls through the cracks. So if I were going to send you an email right now, and this is a demo environment, of course, but if I was going to send you an email right now, a few minutes later, we would see your contact or your suggested information here appear, and in one click, I could add you as a contact record in Prosperworks.
It's actually become part of my workflow now, going into that suggested contacts area and just seeing what's in there to see what I've missed maybe in my email. Do you know what I mean? Because and I think as we all suffer from that sort of data overload, the data surfacing, those tools that can surface that data to us, has become much more important. You know, definitely. Okay, well, I think we're pretty much near the end. Is there any sort of final thoughts you have, or you know, maybe top one or two features that you feel customers really, you know, are the clinchers for them in terms of moving to Prosperworks?
I can mention one. I mean, I'm using the Google Sheets add-on pretty much every night. I'm being asked by my management to create reports. So my reports are actually pretty much done. They are created, and it's a matter of a click of a button on my Google Sheets report. I can refresh the data with the most up-to-date data from Prosperworks. I have my filters already created, and my reports and my charts are, you know, getting populated with the most up-to-date data. And I'm just sharing that data with my management, and every night they're able to see the most up-to-date view of my pipeline.
Yeah, and I think it's very obvious that Prosperworks is focused on sales managers, or that's definitely one area, and it's making it easier for sales managers to create those reports, to manage their teams and things like that. Hugely valuable for a lot of people, and those people out there who maybe are managing large teams. What about from the salesperson's perspective? What do you think is the clincher? I have one, but I'll let you give yours first.
I mean, you know, honestly, the suggested contact is also something I use all the time. So really making sure that you know, that nothing falls through the cracks. And I use actually the set reminder. I was thinking of another feature we haven't really showed in the demo.
Yeah, you mean the one within the actual? I'll switch back over to you there. The one within the actual, within the Chrome extension.
I do that more and more often. So whenever I send an email and I want to set a reminder to follow up on that email, I just click here in the context of that email, and in one click I can say, you know what, tomorrow at 10 a.m. I'm done, and I'm going to have a reminder already attached to Brian. That's going to pop up and tell me to follow up on that email if he has not responded to me.
That's very cool. I actually had only seen that feature the other day, and I was like, oh, what's that? That's interesting. So yeah, I think that's a very, very good one. I mean, having it within my Gmail is just brilliant. Do you know what I mean? I don't tend to leave Gmail that often. You know, and for most of us who are Google or Gmail users, which you know, anyone watching this probably is, you know, just being able to see it within that interface is fantastic. And then the second thing for me as a salesperson is that I'm on the road all the time. So having access on the mobile app, I think is brilliant as well. And the mobile application is fantastic, and you guys have been continuously updating it, which doesn't always happen. Sometimes the mobile app for CRM companies is like a tick box, and once they tick that box, then that's it. They don't work on it. But I've seen with Prosperworks, even over the last 6 months, continuous updates to the mobile application, which is great to see.
Yeah, thanks for the feedback.
Okay, well, we are just coming up to 3 o'clock, so I think we'll wrap it there. Thanks for those of you who've stuck with us till the end, and for those of you that submitted questions. I'll just switch back over to me. We will. This webinar is obviously recorded, so we'll send this out to people afterwards for those of you who missed it. Incidentally, it'll be on our YouTube channel, and many of you have been noticing that we've been putting up weekly content now on the YouTube channel, and we're attempting to keep that up during the year. I'm not promising anything, but that's our goal. I'd just like to end by thanking Mike and Prosperworks for running this in conjunction with ourselves, and for Mike taking the time to show this to us. I think he does a much better job at demoing than I would. So thanks very much for that, and for your time, Mike. And thanks for the opportunity, Fintan. Really appreciate it. Thanks everyone for watching. No worries. Thanks everybody. See you in the next one.